Well, Rachel Pappy is the partner and vice president of Polston Tax Resolution and Accounting, and she's joining us today to talk about small mistakes, how they can cause a lot of trouble. Before we kick it off here, I always tell people, yeah, I make six figures. It just all depends on where you put the decimal point. This is a story of where the decimal point made a huge problem. Tell me about this amazing story of how really it could have really crippled a company, but you guys worked hard to make sure that it's getting out of that mess.
Yeah, so this is an ongoing case, and this business is happy for us to share their experience with the IRS in the event it can help somebody else out there that's watching that is going through a similar nightmare with the IRS.
Okay.
They had an employee who made an online payment on the IRS EFTPS system, and the payment was supposed to be for about $32,000, and instead they accidentally made a payment for $32 million. Wow,
big difference.
Big difference. And so the business didn't have $32 million in their bank account, and the payment bounced. Well, the IRS system automatically assesses penalties when you have a dishonored payment, and so they assess penalties of almost $650,000 against this business for this accidental payment. You would think it would be easy to fix.
Right.
So the business starts getting these letters saying they owe the IRS almost $650,000, and they're confused and come to realize, oh, this $32 million payment was made. It should have been $32,000. Should be easy enough to correct. Their CPA recommends an attorney who they hire who sends a letter to the IRS. And so they're waiting for this simple mistake, decimal point mistake, to get corrected. And then they get their bank account frozen. All their customers, or a number of their customers, get garnishments from the IRS. They're called levies. And a lot of their customers are scared off, don't want to do business with them anymore. And that's when they reached out to us, just very desperate and scared on what they can do.
Absolutely.
So they already have all these liens that have been assessed for an amount that they don't owe. This is a fully tax compliant business. They have all their tax returns filed. They have paid all their taxes. All they have is this penalty that was wrongly assessed for an accidental payment.
Okay.
So the IRS hasn't taken any steps to resolve it, and even though this letter has been sent maybe to the abyss. So this revenue officer that we speak with, he agrees with us and says, yes, I'm going to forward a recommendation for this penalty to be assessed, and I'm going to release all of the levies that have been issued to these customers. The bank account does get wiped out, but he says this will get refunded to them after this penalty abatement if there's no balance due, and it should go back to them. So they now have no money in their bank account. They have liens that are crippling them. They can't get any of their assets refinanced. They need to buy equipment for their business. They can't. Their credit score shot. They can't access capital.
Oh my gosh.
It's a nightmare.
I'm getting stressed hearing this.
Yeah, right. So the revenue officer has agreed with us on the penalty abatement, meaning removing those penalties, and so we're waiting for that to get removed. About 2 months go by, and so we reach out to the revenue officer and say, we're going to file for a lien withdrawal because this business can't have liens on it. They need to get some capital, and there's some circumstances under the code that we can get this lien withdrawn, even though the IRS says they still owe $650,000. So the revenue officer says, sounds good. If they reach out to me, I'll let them know I recommend this as well. We filed a lien withdrawal, and it gets rejected. And it gets rejected, and because we find out at the same time, the IRS system shows no record that the penalty abatement was ever submitted. So this revenue officer in March resubmits the penalty abatement. And I don't know, maybe he submitted it and the IRS lost it, which wouldn't be the first time that has happened. Resubmits it. Now this business can't get the lien withdrawn. They are just crippled. The penalty abatement is going to take at least another 3 months.
Okay.
And so we just filed an appeal last week on the lien.
All right. So now, obviously, companies, whatever the size, they generally don't have where they can do these kinds of forensics. They're trying to find out exactly where the problem is. And that's where Polston actually can come in and help out. You've taken a lot of the stress off. And it does look like it's going to work out.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
it also speaks to the fact there are mistakes made on the other side of
Absolutely.
the IRS.
There's mistakes made. And I think that what the business really wants the public to know is you have to navigate so many different channels of the IRS, and you need to know when to turn left, when to turn right, who to contact, how to go up the line, when you should work through the revenue officer, when you need to talk to somebody else, and when sending a letter to the abyss isn't going to help at all.
And that's where Polston comes in. Polston Tax Resolution and Accounting does just that. They have 5 locations in Oklahoma City, Edmond, Norman, Tulsa, and Wichita. You can call them at 405-801-2146. They also assist clients nationwide. Several ways to get a hold of in contact with Polston Tax and Resolution and Accounting. You can look for them on social media just for Polston Tax. Their website is polstontax.com.